Oh, we haven't talked to her forever. Melanie in Toronto. Hey, Melanie.
Oh, you remember me?
Absolutely. I'm not going to forget you ever. There'll never be a day I forget you.
Gail, do you know the day I met you guys on the street? You were pregnant.
Yes.
I know. Yeah. I remember.
Oh, you didn't know? Congratulations, my love.
Yeah.
Thank
so
you
happy
so much.
To you.
Yeah.
Ron, first of all, you're talking to only white people.
Right. Well, Earl.
And, well, yes. Earl, by the way, you are a terrible representation of the black community. I can't. I cannot. But
this makes this a great Juneteenth for me.
there's a big study that was just done that almost 85% of all white people have no personal relationship whatsoever with black people. Like actual personal relationships with not people that like serve them or work for them or work relationships, like actual friendships in their lives. So, of course, a lot of white people don't know about Juneteenth. Of course, most of your audience don't know.
I mean, most of the time when someone's saying, well, I have a black friend or I have black friends, which usually when someone's saying really that, they're like a white person trying to defend something they say.
Right.
But 9 times out of 10, what they're saying is, I have
a friend.
Yeah, they're saying, I have a black coworker is what they're saying.
Exactly. So, like, when I hear conversations like this, it's kind of like, I want to almost be sympathetic with white people to say, okay, well, you don't know any black people. But you have to work really hard in America to not interact in a personal way with black people.
Right.
In most states, yes.
That is true.
You know, like you have to segregate yourself in a way that like you don't have their kids over to your house. You don't know anything about black culture. Right. So, but all that being said, I love this show. Like you guys are doing such amazing. Like I don't miss it ever. Like ever.
Thank you so much, sweetie.
So happy Juneteenth.
Happy Juneteenth.
To you.
And please respect the culture, Earl, because you are fucking it up.
How so?
Because you never know anything Ron asks you about black people.
Well, ask me now.
Other than music.
I'm right here.
Other than music.
Ask me now. I'm right here.
Other than music, you're awesome.
Ask me now. I'm right here.
What question do you have? I literally can't think of anything right now, but usually as soon as Ron brings it up, you have the wrong answer. You don't know.
Here's one thing I know that you represent.
A black woman.
Yeah. Black guys get so upset if a black woman... How many times have you heard Earl yell, ask me now? And he's really angry.
She's yelling at me, and I'm like, okay, ask me a question.
But of course he's getting like rude.
You're coming at me like that. Ask me a question.
I'm a black woman. A bunch of white people calling. It's all kinds of shit.
And I'm asking you specifically.
But why are you chesting up all of a sudden, or why wouldn't you be more respectful?
She's coming at me like that.
On Juneteenth, why wouldn't you act like...
No, she's coming at me. She's calling me a poor representation. On Juneteenth, she's saying I'm a poor representation of black culture. Ask me a question about black culture.
This isn't a game show, Earl.
Brother,
just point it out. Yeah.
I'm just saying that I can't think of anything specific in this moment, but you are constantly incorrect.
Yeah.
Okay, so ask me a question about black culture right now.
But she doesn't have a question. She doesn't remember what.
All right. Pull your chest in, bro. That's one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but don't sit back and call me a poor representation and then have nothing to back it up.
I'm sorry, you are. You just are. You just are.
Okay. So prove your point to me.
Next time I'll call in. How about this? The next time it happens, I'll call in and we'll talk about it.
All right, that sounds good. Because then at least we get to hear from you again.
Of course.
Girl, answer
Gail,
this.
I love you.
Right.
I love you.
Give Jules a big hug and a kiss.
Aw, sweet.
Talk to you soon. Earl, why do black men get so mad every time black women have an opinion?
Why'd you sass her so hard?
No, she basically called me a disgrace to my race. Why am I supposed to react?
I'm going to tell you this, Earl. You're going to end up in a chokehold by the time this is over. I see it coming.
Not good. This is not how we
anger that you have.
I wasn't angry. I was like, you know what? Ask me a question.
I know. We all heard you scream the same thing over and over. But, Earl, this was always what really kind of freaks out white people when we see how angry black men get when black women have an opinion.
No, and I respect her opinion, but I'm asking her.
I don't see any respect at all.
I asked her to back up that opinion, and she couldn't do it.
Well, the fact that you were just so confused about Juneteenth that you told us it was like Christmas down south, and then we found out that it is, and it's much more low key. You know,
for black people, it's a big deal.
It isn't like Christmas, Earl.
20 people called in and said they didn't hear about it and there was no facts about it. You didn't yell at one of them, Earl.
You didn't yell at one of them.
But none of them said, hey, Earl, you're a disgrace to the black community.
Earl, easy. No, it doesn't matter that you're a disgrace to the black community. It doesn't matter to me. You could be the most disgraceful African American ever. Okay?
Yes.
I don't expect Mayor Pete to know everything about the fucking gay world, but I don't expect to have him screaming at other gay people. Ask me now, bitch.
I didn't say that.
But I mean, you insinuated, Earl.
Not at all.
It was frightening.
0.
It was frightened. I feel like I shouldn't go on, but I'm going to anyway, and hopefully. And I'm going to beg any black woman, please don't call in because it just lights Earl up. He gets so angry.
That was intense.
Yeah. That was intense. Jeff in Denver.
Hey, Bennington.
Hey.
Yeah, in Denver, there's a huge Juneteenth celebration. They have it every year. They actually closed my whole street off for like 9 blocks. It was this weekend.
Yeah.
And they had a shanty there. There were thousands of people there. It was crazy. But they have it every year. In the early 90s, there was a big shooting at one of them, and they kind of stopped it for a bit, but then it's bigger than ever now.
You know why? Because a woman had an opinion. And the whole thing went crazy. John in South Carolina.
Good afternoon. I just want to, set something straight that the Civil War, also known as the War of Northern Aggression, was really about state rights and the state succeeding from the Union. And it really did not become a major issue about slavery until people in the North started to lose interest in the war because we were doing so badly. And riots in New York, where the Navy had to actually fire cannons into the rioters who killed hundreds and hundreds of black people in Manhattan.
We all
Civil War is
we all saw
real
the
interesting.
Martin Scorsese movie, so we're all aware of that. Did you see that movie, Earl?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Did you love it?
It was okay. I thought it was a little too long. But
really, how long do you like a movie to be?
No more than 2 hours.
Really?
That's your sweet spot.
I think it was what, 2.5. I think this movie was.
But you ever do that with a football game? You ever say the football game's too long?
I think
those are 3 hours.
Well, the end of the games end of football games are brutal. That is agony because they just drag on and on.
I never find that. I find it to be pretty exciting. Like, what's going to happen? We're going to have a winner.
Yeah, that is interesting, too. Like, people complain about movies like that, but there's plenty of people who will sit and watch multiple football games back to back all
I do
day.
it every weekend. I feel like an idiot if I don't watch as many games as I possibly can. I go, why have I wasted my Sunday? I'm going to watch at least 3 games and then all the highlights. Mm-hmm. That really does. And that's why I love, in the fall, I go, I can't come to whatever you have planned today.
Not.
And they'll go, why? I go, I need to watch all the football. And they go, oh, I understand. Where some people go, why? Are you a gambler? And I go, is that what you need to leave me alone? Then yes.
I have an addiction. I have a problem.
Hey, Chewy. And don't growl at me. Chewy.
Hello there.
Hey.
Hello there, Bennington.
What's up?
Austin misses you every day you're not here.
Love Austin.
Just wanted to let you guys know that Juneteenth is a very big deal in Texas, basically because it was because of Texas that there even is a Juneteenth.
Didn't even know that till today.
Yeah.
And there were 250,000 slaves that didn't know about slavery being over, and they were all here.
Unbelievable.
And, so we have huge festivals. I mean, like probably the weekend before and the weekend after. And as far as the guy who was talking about states' rights and all that stuff, yeah, the Holocaust isn't real either, dude.
Right.
White guys need to get off their shit and just realize they need to learn about culture.
It's not so bad to take some responsibility for your culture if you're going to celebrate your culture. You know?
I agree. If you get to have it both ways. This is a great thing that we did. This is a shit thing that we did.
Right.
And you also don't have to take it so personally upon yourself. Like, you aren't your country. You think you are, but you're not. You know? So you can step back and go, I didn't make those decisions, but I can see now that if we own up to them, we won't repeat them. That's literally how history repeats itself.
But if you are going to celebrate this country you also need to say, hey, there's some things that happened in this country that also weren't good. Let's learn from it.
Right.
That's why we're celebrating Juneteenth with the misogynistic black girl. He has this one sore spot. He's very angry with black women. But there's a lot of great things that you do as well, Earl.
I'm not angry at black women. I was angry at that black woman.
Take responsibility, Earl.
I'll take responsibility for getting a little miffed at that black woman.
But you don't do it with any white women. You don't do it with any black men.
Well,
I've seen Vito say terrible things to you.
Yeah, that is true.
You just let it roll off your back.
My sore spot is when you're a disgraceful black man. Like my brother, that was the one time my brother and I had like a really bad fight. Was over. He was like, "You're not a real black guy," and I'm like, "What did you say to me?" And off we went.
So it's happened before.
Yeah. There's a history of it, Vito.
Well, he hit me first, but I had to defend myself. Not but I defended myself.
But
I have a feeling I'm gonna just listen to the story. I have a feeling you hit first because it's like you're a disgrace to black people. Then you say, "What did you say?" And then he wouldn't hit you. I mean, you'd hit someone if they said that about you.
No, I never picked a fight with my brother because he always kicked my ass, and that was the one time I got like in his face. You
fought with your sisters, though.
Physically.
No, never laid hands on my sisters because again,
unless they
were
spoke up to you.
they were tough as nails too.
Chris, you got back everything straightened out?
I got in touch with some people. I texted updates to everyone.
Yeah.
But hopefully by end of day.
Earl had a meltdown on our friend Melanie from Toronto.
She's
great. Melanie.
Of course.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
Because she was a black woman with an opinion.
What the fuck,
She
Earl?
called me a disgrace to black culture.
But,
she said it nice though.
Yeah.
I know.
But you do, and like you said, a lot of people who said to you, you're not, you know what I mean? Like you live amongst the whites, Earl. 100%.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even think that you have, a lot of times I'll say to Earl, do you want to go to this event to me? And he'll go, why? And I go, I need to come in here with a black person. And he'll go, I'll be there in a minute. And he does it for everyone. He does it for me. He does it for Hard Rock Johnny.
That's really nice.
Yeah. Every time they say the Hard Rock doesn't have enough black employees, Earl, one moment he's cooking in the kitchen. Next he's on stage giving out tchotchkes. He's all over the place until they
Why
leave.
is that busboy covered in sweat? Me? I was here the whole time.
Charlie in Texas. This is Charlie.
Yes.
Yeah.
The show's getting better.
Thank you. It feels like it is.
It really does.
I mean, we had a setback today with Earl. There's no doubt about it. That almost got violent, Earl. I almost saw you beat a woman.
No.
Jesus, Earl. How could you do
that?
What can we do for you, Charlie?
Well, I'm still listening, so the show's good. But I wanted to ask Earl, what does it mean? I know I'm white, if you can't tell by my voice.
I couldn't.
What does it mean not to be a real black man or a disgraceful black man? Like, what parameters do you have to be in to be a black man other than the color of your skin?
All right, that's a very good point, because I don't know whether you're familiar with this, but all men will be like, I'm a man. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I'm a man. Yeah. And it may be losing its thing, because when I was younger, you didn't want anybody acting like you were a boy or a kid.
Right.
There's that Springsteen song, Mr. I'm a Boy. I'm not a boy, I'm a man. You know what I mean? Like, and now you see people like, oh, I still play with my toys. I keep the child in me alive. And you're like, oh, you... Earl, what's it mean to not be a black man, even though that you are black and an adult?
Well, I mean, it used to be, let's say, if you liked anything remotely related to white culture, like when I was in high school, I loved the Stones, I loved the Beach Boys, and I got hammered for it, absolutely hammered for it, by my brother, by everyone in the neighborhood, and they were calling it quote unquote white boy music, and I'm like, no, it's good music. I just saw it as what it was.
It's better than black.
But I also listened to Public Enemy, Run DMC, whatever Earth, Wind, and Fire.
The Fat Boys?
The Fat Boys. They were neighborhood guys.
When you first turn your back on your culture and your people, Did that feel good because you now had an identity that you didn't have
No,
before?
I never did. For Christ's sake, I'm in the Black Rock Coalition.
But rock, and it hasn't grown, Earl.
Oh,
it's-
but rock and roll is black music. Let's just be frank about it. It really
Frank
is.
is a white man's name.
But Franklin.
True.
Interesting, right?
Oh.
But again, that's when I started to kind of temper things as far as like, you listen to white boy music. Once I found out the roots of all of that music has black DNA in it, so I was like,
Then it made sense to you.
it made 100% sense to me. It was like,
But you like country music?
which is an extension of the
No, it
blues, and
Not really. I think country music comes from Scottish Hill music. You know, those Scottish hillbillies.
Right.
They just came
bluegrass.
over because a lot of them have an Irish and Scottish background.
Lucas Nelson approves of that. He said it last week.
Lucas Nelson stands with shoulder to shoulder with any songwriter in history.
Anyone.
That surprised me. For a guy who can't name one of his songs. Earl, did you feel like you had to just take it and you couldn't say to him, what about R&B?
yeah, I mean, like rhythm and blues. You got jazz. You got all of it has black DNA in it. So
You should have confronted him like you did Melanie.
Wouldn't.
No, of course not. He's never given me any shit. And we go at it, Ron.
I know. He takes it from you because you're not a black woman.
Exactly. I'm not weaker than him or whatever he sees. I don't know. He's a crazy person.
I saw...
I mean, you put up with some razzing from me, Earl.
Yeah.
All in good fun.
yeah, but you never again. You calling me a disgrace to my race. I'm like, no, I'm gonna defend myself.
Not like that. Not
Do you
like
think
what you were
if
doing.
I said that to you, you would have the same reaction or a different reaction?
I would get pretty upset. And I mean, that's a strong thing to say to someone.
It is.
I've called myself the only young black man on the show, and Earl's never gotten mad at me about it once.
Because it's funny to me. Just him saying it makes it
Melanie's
funny.
fun.
But he lives in a black culture more than you do.
I'm wearing a Juneteenth shirt today. I wore my Donald Glover shirt for Juneteenth.
I didn't even know that was Donald Glover. I thought that was Childish Gambino.
I thought it was Danny
I know
Glover.
anything. Danny Glover is my favorite.
Yeah, me too.
Who's also way radical. If you know Danny Glover's thing, he was like part of those kids that were taking over the college campuses and shit.
Oh, that's badass.
Yeah, he's real fucking old school. 60s radical. I've
Yeah.
had him on the show before.
That's
He's
great.
everything you want him to be.
I love it.
Yeah. Like he had like a 3-day stubble that looked like it could have taken your skin off if you rubbed it. Like that's the kind of stubble I like. You know what I mean?
It's awesome.
Like far beyond sandpaper. Earl, that part of you, that violent
I'm not
part of you.
violent. I am
Rage.
the least violent person.
You're high on Rage-a-Hall.
Only with women do you get mad.
No, there were some dudes I had to. I got really
Clip.
not clip, but I was just like,
Pop
But you had to turn them into a wet t-shirt party.
with your gat.
He's scary.
Yeah, very. It's probably because he doesn't have sex.
there was a couple of dudes that kind of.
Yeah, we ain't going to be hearing from anymore. Let's say if I want to reach him, I have to give a letter to a gopher.
Earl, how many guns do you own?
None.
He gets rid of them as soon as he uses them. Have you ever bought a legal weapon?
No.
Of course. Don't need to, right? Jack in Utah.
Yeah, hey, Bennington.
Yeah.
Well, I grew up in the Metroplex Dallas area in the early 90s, and Juneteenth was huge. There was, you made sure to take work off, and the parks were full of people.
This is a Texas holiday, Earl, and you had said it was an Atlanta holiday.
Yeah, maybe it is pretty localized.
Yeah, it's pretty localized to Texas as far as honoring the history of it.
Do you think that this is cultural appropriation of states? Like if you're like, this is
Interesting.
Texas culture, not New York culture, not Georgia culture.
Yeah.
But
don't.
it was something that was federal, right? The ending of slavery is a federal thing.
No, but we're saying
But then it would
we're
be when
saying
it was like
who's
the
celebrating.
proclamation.
There's people celebrating and that have a history with it seem to be Texans.
True, but I think but they
Look
don't
how
celebrate.
I can point it out, but Melanie can't.
Yeah.
Very, very
This is
fascinating.
Melanie.
Fascinating. If it was Melanie, he'd be choking her right now.
He's a monster,
I'm
Ron.
not choking anyone out.